there. Happy May. Hope you guys had an amazing April. Hope you guys enjoyed all the Venus retrograde and all the energy that's been going on in the world right now. So we have 4 planets retrograde right now. We have Jupiter retrograde, which has been retrograde for a while, and Jupiter is a planet of expansion, optimism, all that good stuff. So when that goes retrograde, we're just like, bleh, feeling like our luck has run out a little bit. We have Pluto retrograde, which is like, I love Pluto retrograde because Pluto, I'm run by Pluto, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. So it's really been eye-opening to realize during the Pluto retrograde how much I've transformed, how much people around me have transformed, how much the world has transformed. I was watching 9.5 Weeks last night from 1986, and I was born in 88, so to think that it was 31 years ago, and to see the difference in, I know it was a movie, but to see the difference in, not just our cinema, but to see the difference in people and humanity and how we, like, media, socialization, society, it's absolutely incredible. Mickey Rourke is on a friggin' payphone, for crying out loud. Like, there's an answering machine. I'm just like it was crazy, and that really, retrograde puts things into perspective. So it was incredible. Then we also have Saturn retrograde, which that one I'm not too good with because I'm in my Saturn return, so it goes retrograde. It's gonna hit me again. Saturn is our authority. Saturn is like our dad saying, no, you can't do this because you're not strong enough or smart enough or good enough. You got to go back and try it again. So Saturn is really a time to think about who our authority is, what our authority is, and if that is serving our highest good. Saturn is the #1 tester. So anything that you're going through right now is just a test to see your endurance, to see your strength. So it might suck, but if you can get through it, you're proving to the universe and to Saturn that I want this. So the Saturn is like, okay, you can now have it and it's going to be great. But like the Saturn return, Saturn retrograde can be such a bitch. And then we also have, Mercury retrograde. We also have Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde Mercury retrograde happens quite a bit, and it'll go direct in May, May 8th. So Mercury retrograde, definitely don't want to be signing any contracts. You absolutely can, but take it from personal experience. You will second guess it when Mercury goes direct. I bought a car, a printer, and I rented a house during Mercury retrograde, and everything was so messed up and mixed up. Renting, like, back and forth with contracts. Printer, still don't even have trust in the thing that it's going to work. And car, that was a nightmare. Mercury retrograde has a bad reputation, but it's just urging us to take a second and think about what we really want before quickly signing any contracts. So I urge you guys just to wait until it goes direct before making any big purchases, or else you're really going to be questioning, should I have? Okay, this is going to be a quick read. I don't have much to say in May because May is a chaotic and changeable month. So with that chaos and energy, there's really no point of doing a long reading because the energy is just too fast-paced and quick to ask you guys to sit through that. Especially during Mercury retrograde. I don't even know if these videos are gonna come out properly because of it. So I'm not gonna put too much time. Okay. So I'm reading for Cancer for May 2017. Okay. Cancer, May 2017. Okay, let's do this. Okay. I almost just did one extra card. I think I'm going to play it. not play it, but I think I'm going to put it down just because I feel really compelled to put that extra card down. So Cancer, what's going on? Because the theme of this is just feeling like something new came in that has you stood still, has your optimism stood still, and your creativity and your happiness stood still, because the theme is this third person heartbreak, if that makes sense. Third person heartbreak. So it's not even necessarily your heartbreak, but it's a third person. So it's you know, you have your first person, then you have the reader, and then you have a third person who's really in the pain here, and you're feeling it. You're feeling that a lot, actually, and it's really affecting your optimism. That's the theme, and the situation is really, you're really fighting these changes that are coming in. But these sudden changes are, so this is a situation, really fighting these changes. It's really messing with your sense of freedom, your sense of coordination, your sense of stability, and your sense of progress, and your ability to move forward. That's what's really going on here. There's some confusion. It's almost like I want to say someone who threw a wrench into your plans, someone who didn't have the right to throw stones at you because they live in a glass house. The obstacle and the aid is to cut your losses. It might come as a sudden shock to your ego, but it's time to just cut that off and really just leave your pride intact. And that might be hard to do because a lot of the thing with the Cancer is that Cancers retreat back into their shell when they're hurt. And I've said this before in another Cancer video. But the home base, the shell, you've outgrown it. It's time to, like, that's where you need to form some sort of separation. That shell, that safe place that you felt that you could always retreat back to, that's what's getting really messed up here. And that's where you're going to be urged to grow and transform. So May is all about changes, all about growth, very chaotic. Subconsciously, you're just totally confused. Subconsciously, it's an internal confusion. I'm not sure if you can see this, but if you can, there's 7 cups here. The first one is your beauty. So I really wish you could see this, because the one that you're drawn to is the one where, the cup that you're drawn to is the cup where the confusion comes from. So we have beauty, we have just your sense of self, we have your sense of transformation, we have your pride, we have your wisdom, we have your finances, and we have your home. So whichever one is causing this confusion, it's time to focus on your empowerment. Like, you're thinking like you're alone. You're thinking that you have to, you're drinking from your own cup. You're drinking from your own emotional well, from your own emotions. And you've really put up some blockers here. You've put up a lot of boundaries. You've really cut people off. You needed to. Well, this is your thought. So this is you thinking that you need to. Something that would have just passed, moving away from something. So there's a lot of cups in this reading, which is awesome because Cancer is a very emotional sign, right? It's a water sign. And Pluto in retrograde would have affected the Cancers just because it's a water as well. It rules Scorpio, which is the water. So yeah, the Pluto going retrograde really is making you guys realize that you've hit a peak in something in your life, either a relationship, either whatever came up, whatever cup that you were drawn to the most, whatever cup you were drawn to the most, no. This is not working. Anyways, like I said, I told you the 7 cups. Whatever cup you were drawn to the most is what you feel like you had to move away from. And you're moving away with pride. You moved away with pride. Like I said, it hit a peak and it's either going to crumble down and you're going to be left powerless, or you can walk away with some support and stability from yourself. You right now are really focusing on your empowerment, really focusing on what you've accomplished, really focusing on making those next steps and kind of spearheading your way into future endeavors, and just really leaving your shadow self behind. Like, it's really your old self. You're ready to kind of let go. Like I said, the crab, naturally, a crab will go back into its shell when it feels threatened, but eventually that shell gets too small and the crab has to choose between either being crushed to death in its current shell or moving and finding another one and leaving its old shell behind. So it's really time in May, especially with all this new growth, new moon in Taurus, it's really time to just let go and focus on moving forward, leaving that old pain in the past. I think I've said this before to the Cancers, especially Moon and Cancers. Moon and Cancer can really hold on to past pains, and they never forget those past hurts because they get brought back to the feeling they had when that pain occurred. So it's so hard to detach themselves from that past hurt because they can still feel it. So sometimes all it takes is really to just tell your higher self, tell yourself, tell your spirit guides, I'm ready to move on. And once the universe and your spirit guides hear that, they'll start putting things into your life that allow that progress and allow you to leave your shell behind, okay? Family and friends are doing a lot of rest at home right now. I haven't really been seeing a lot of your family and friends. It's been kind of a little bit of a void there, but they're doing just fine. They're focused on their empowerment. So yeah, it has nothing to do with you. If you're feeling like maybe you're being shunned by family and friends and, you know, feeling very isolated and alone, that's not true. They're just focusing on their growth and their ripple effect. So it doesn't, Moon and Cancer, I don't know what it is about the Cancer and Moon, but Moon and Cancer can kind of feel like attention is very important. Like, they want to definitely be considered, and when they're not considered, they take it as like an emotional attack. So keep that in mind, that your family and friends are not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to empower themselves and focus on what they need to do. Hope and fear is definitely being alone and taking those steps forward by yourself and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Camouflaging yourself into a new situation. Your scales are a lot harder than you think, and you are more adaptable than you think. You're a cardinal sign. You can make these forward progresses, and you will adapt as long as you are focused on what is important to you and what your strengths are, and really doing up your tightening up your laces and just making those steps forward. But that is a hope and a fear. You wish for that, but you also fear it. So keep that in mind. If it's a fear that is really defeating you right now, especially with this this lack of optimism, that's kind of the shadow of this reading. Just keep in mind that you have more support than you may think, because it's definitely time to start making some forward progress when it comes to your finances and your empowerment. Stop focusing on what you don't have and start focusing on what you do have, especially your emotional strength. I just told a friend the other day, to be sensitive in this world is a true strength. It is not a weakness, because we live in such a fake world right now. So everything is very fake. When you even, you look at people and they don't even look real anymore. There's quite this dichotomy between the real world and the fake world, the media and socialization, and then how we truly feel on the inside. And that is such a huge strength for the Cancer to have, for the water signs to have. That's going to empower you. Once you complete that cycle of focusing on finances over faith, then you'll start to really realize that you don't need that financial stability to create change and freedom in your life. Okay? It's not needed. That is just something that we've been programmed into believing, that, the fast cars, the money, the whatever, that's going to make us happy. It's not true. And I think that Cancer, you already know that on some emotional level, and it's really just time to to honor that, because you're feeling so confused right now. You're feeling like, what the hell? Mom and dad fought about money, so I made money, and I'm still fighting with my husband. It's not the money, you know. It's energy, and it's an exchange of energy, but it's not the money. It's the empowerment. It's the power that money creates this illusion of power, right? When you think about like a famous actor or actress, they have all this respect and power, but why? What are they doing? They're acting fake, and they're mimicking real emotion, and then we idolize that, and we pay them a lot for that. Like, it just, like, that's the society that we live in, and it's very hard to wrap our heads around it when we start to dig deeper into that, which I'm sure, Cancers, you have done. So really just try to focus on maybe the fact that, you know, we've been duped. We've been fooled into thinking that money and power and respect is going to give us that sense of security, emotional security that we need. But it's vice versa. You start with the emotional security. You start with the realization that you have everything that you need, and then it's so much easier to go forward. So, like I said, not a long reading today, but a change is coming, a sudden change, and that sudden change is going to be an obstacle and an aid for you. So just flow with it. It might feel like you have lost control and you just have all this chaotic, especially financial loss of control, feeling like, you know, you can't really make any steps forward, feeling like you need to be like a crutch. You need to be someone else's crutch, or you need someone to be your crutch. It's not true. Okay, Indigo Cancers. I'm pulling a card for you guys for May. Indigo Cancers. What card do the Indigo Cancers need to know for May? And the light workers and all the sensitive empaths who just want to feel connected, happy, love, light, luck, happiness. What do the Indigo Cancers need to know for May? Learn something new. I think it's definitely time to, like I said, you guys are empowering yourselves right now. You're thinking about what you've accomplished so far, and you're trying to leave your shadow side behind. It's time to really get yourself out there. That's really going to help you when it comes to this change that's coming. Dip your toes into a new environment. Dip your toes into a new experience, because cardinal Cancers are the cardinal signs. They need movement. They need to go forward. They need to be, you know, impulsive. They need to kind of blaze a trail. It's time to learn something new, okay? Hope you guys have an amazing, amazing May. You deserve it. I love you guys. Have a good one, and I'll see you in June. Bye.